Hello everyone. Today we're going to cover the powerful for each loop. So the for each loop is very similar to the for loop. I've left the for loop that we used earlier to populate our list box in the code to show as a side-by-side comparison for what we're building and how the similarities overlap and to bridge the conceptual gap that you might have when you're trying to understand how to implement a for each loop. So let's get started with the syntax first. We type for each, parentheses, and squiggle brackets. Inside of the parentheses, we will type what is essentially what I've highlighted here. The initialization, the conditional, and the increment. So how does the for loop do this task? So the first thing we need to do is choose what we are going to iterate over. So in this case, the important element that I want to iterate over is our shape array. So that will be inside of our for each loop. Then we need to understand what the data inside of the shape array is. And here we have strings. So that gives us the information that we need to build what's inside the for each loop. And we'll see some of the powerful elements of the for each loop in just a moment here. So here I'm defining, the first thing I need to do is define what the individual elements that I'm going to be looping over. And they are strings. Shape is the name of the variable that I'm defining. So that shape will assume the value of circle on the first loop iteration, square on the second loop iteration, and triangle on the third loop iteration. So that's what the value of shape is going to be. And then I need to say inside of shape array. So that's what we're going to be looping over. And you'll notice here we don't need to define how long or how many elements are in our shape array, because what the for each loop is going to do is just go through every item inside of this data structure here, this string array. As we'll find later, we can also do this with other data structures. And that's where the for each loop becomes incredibly powerful, is its flexibility. But that aside, here we have a shape array, and if I added another element, it would know the length, although this also knows the length. But we don't need to define the length. We're just going to say go through each element here, and on each iteration, pull that element out and put it into this shape variable. And now we can do the same code here, this add to the Listbox code. And in this case, we just put shape. And that will go through the full loop. So we can comment out this code and we will produce the exact same outcome as this code above here. So let's show that. So I'm going to clear the list box here, and we're going to click add. And just like the previous for loop, the for each loop does the same operation, but the for each loop adds a bit of readability to our code. Right, so here I have shapes It's much cleaner and it's, in my opinion, a lot easier to use. So this is everything for the for each loop, and I definitely recommend it. And you'll see how useful it can be as you start to work with other data structures. But for now, we're just looking at this data structure, the string array. But yeah, I definitely recommend the for each loop. It's a great tool, and makes it makes looping through any type of data structure a lot smoother and cleaner. So that covers everything that I'd like to talk about with the for each loop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.